Hey guys, alright, in this video we're going to cover off on mainly the forward fuselage, start work on the doors, take you out to the airport for a look, we'll go for a fly out there and set a console. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, mail time. I've got a delivery here from overseas. It's come from Skytech Civil Aircraft Parts, so I'm pretty sure this is my nose wheel steering brackets. We'll have a look. So I ordered these probably 4 to 6 weeks ago. Sort of got to stay on top of this stuff, being on the little island we are down here in the South Pacific in Australia. So I've got a, oh that's right, I forgot I actually ordered some of this. But I've got a, because of the shipping, I ordered a oil filler or a cowl door. First impression, it's bigger than I thought. Fairly big access hole. It's probably more of a fuel cap filler panel cowling access door kit. Got a hinge, some Zuzz fasteners. One Zuzz fastener and some mounting rivets, which is nice, all nicely packaged, and it's also got a funny sort of curve in each direction in there, so I'm not sure if it was for a specific aircraft, but we can make it work. Obviously install it downwind so the hinge is upwind, but that may or may not come in handy, may not get used. But the main thing I was waiting on, and it's pretty timely because I've just fitted the firewall last night. And I've got these swivel plates, if you like. So the Zenith ones on the firewall has this, and then the Zenith just has a plate with a hole in it to go up and down with your steering rods. But these ones have got a nice eye end in there, so hopefully the rod goes straight through and these plates will slide up and down. Looking good. Thanks Skytech. So I got the firewall installed. I put a thin bit of polyurethane around there, offered up the firewall, and now that's all nicely riveted on with A5s all the way along the bottom. Your nose landing gear bracket goes in here, and I also, because of the way this is the steering rod and those new plates that I got from Skytech are going to fit over the top, slide up and down. This rivet gets in the way. I took it out, but then on the back there's an L angle, runs all the way up there, a diagonal, and because it's the end and it attaches to the cross member here, another angle, L angle on the bottom, I countersunk it, put the rivet back in and cleaned it up because I think that's pretty structural, that rivet. So yeah, need a job. It's in there, sanded it, and now that's nice and flush. Also the top skin, you can see I've put the top skin, it's a bit of a bugger, it's just going to be in the way, it's just flopping around at the moment, but it's threaded onto the cabin frame up the top there. See around the back, threaded through the hole, makes it nice and neat. So I haven't, the other option is cut a slit in the skin, but I'll persevere with it in the way. Next step is going to get the aircraft off the bench and onto its wheels. That'll give me a bit of roof clearance, a bit of clearance up the top there. At the moment I've got about 1 inch above the horizontal frame. I bit the bullet and riveted the cabin frame on these L brackets in there. Use stainless steel rivets there, and I also, doesn't say to, but I use stainless steel rivets up the top there where it joins the cabin frame. So I put stainless steel rivets in along the top here. This probably won't get riveted until after I've done the dashboard and all the wiring and everything. I've seen pictures of other people just tie the skin up to itself, up over the top. So I'll probably do that. There we go, she's on her wheels for the first time. Down on the ground. Alright, hey guys. She seems to have shrunk a bit, but I've got it down on its wheels. A whole lot, pretty happy about that. A whole lot easier to work on now. I can get in there without, doing my backing. Work up on top and start building the doors. But just finished fitting the nose wheel, so I'll give you a look at that. Okay, so I've got the nose wheel fitted here. I'm just working on fitted the pucks. So for those who don't know, it's a couple of locking collars, silver spacer, then a rubber donut, like about a 3/4 inch thick, literally a rubber donut. Don't get the sprinkled ones, they don't taste as good. So anyway, I got the donuts all lined up there. One thing I have, I'm trying to keep everything nice and smooth, so I haven't got no rudder cables or anything hooked up yet. Haven't got a rudder fitted. So to get the steering to work nice. But what tends to happen, this I'll give you a close up in a minute, but this trunnion lock, or the bottom bearing, has got a saddle in it. So the steering actually rides up and down on that saddle. So if you get, I might have to go online and have a look, see what some of the other guys have done to get a preload in this. But then it means when you turn your steering or stand on your rudder pedals, you're fighting against the preload in here. At the moment I've got about a 1/16 of an inch when it's at neutral, and then as you turn, the compression of the rubbers starts to come in. But it also means that when I land, there's a slight, it's gone away now, but there's a slight take up. So I'm just not sure on the preload, but anyway, I'll do a bit of research. I'd rather have it nice and free, so that it also, looking at the Zenith website, it should return down to neutral. I'll give you a close up of that. So you can see how that works here, well hopefully you can, on that block with the steering, and as it turns it rides up each direction and then drops back to neutral where it sort of self-centers. And then the donuts, and comes up to the top. I've greased all these up. They spin on the strut anyway. You can see that'll turn. So yeah, going well. It's also a bit of satisfaction, I guess, doing your own lock wires. 30 years in the Air Force, I used to do lock wires for a living. Well, back in the day anyway, before I sat behind a desk. So I've lock wired under here. Just there. One on each side. They're perfect. Happy with that. So I had to drill and tap these blocks out. Quarter 28 UNF, fine thread. That all went pretty well. Used a vertical drill. And a mate sort of showed me a good tip. Put the tap in the vertical drill and just turn the drill by hand to get it started. So they're nice and square. So they're tapped in. I did play around with this through bolt. The tension on that tends to close this up, which in turn grabs the strut and stiffens up your steering. So anyway, going well. It's pretty cool to get the nose wheel on, main wheels, and a skateboard strapped under the tail so I can move it around. But all in all, going well. Pretty happy with that, pretty stoked. Got my bench to build some doors on now, and the wings might have to go out to the hangar. Give me a bit of space. Looking good. Okay, so tonight this front bearing sort of got the better of me. Now the advice I got was, the elevator cables are going to pull that back. However, I'm about to do the rear bearing mount, which is this piece over here, which will go in the rear tube. So if I set it all the way back with that 3mm gap I've got at the front that I've shown in previous videos, then it can sort of slide forward. But I'll I'll make a washer and see how we go. So there's my first attempt. I got the inner hole was nice, and then I just sort of hand sanded the outside. And then I sort of thought, oh well, I can do that a little bit better. So I've cut on my fly cutter, cut an outside hole almost all the way through, and now I'll go back and cut the inside hole, and then I'll get a nice round washer. Alright, just for peace of mind, not sure if I need it or not, but I've put that, that's a 3mm bit of chopping board, but I made a nice washer, slid it on, and controls are still full and free, but I haven't got that end float anymore, so I can sleep well. And then I'll do that rear bearing support, which goes behind those two, in behind that bell crank there. Alright, I've just gone off to the factory, asked Roger about the just the preload on the pucks, just get that right. I think I explained before, once the nose wheel steering works, because it rises up, it sort of fights against the suspension, has to compress the pucks to turn. So anyway, while I was doing that, I've been working in the hole underneath. So up inside the fuselage here, there's not a great deal of room. Got the controls. This is your joystick, if you like. So ailerons, left and right, and simply your elevator bell crank here. What I've put in is this rear bearing support for the torque tube, with this horizontal member runs across onto these plates on both sides. Had a bit of time riveting. That side was okay. This side I got the flap motor, so I had to disconnect the flap motor to get in and do the rivets, namely the rivets that come in the back there. The other issue I've got now, the hatch goes on the bottom. I've got the anchor nuts. Now I've got my dimpler, I might change these dome-headed rivets on the anchor nuts. But the way mine ended up, this cross brace is about 3mm inside this lip. Have a look from the bottom, you get about 3mm there. So what's going to happen now, this can just vibrate. So my plan is to, I've got anchor nuts, so an anchor nut there with this steel plate, another anchor nut there. So in between the anchor nuts, so about, what's that, 90mm, I'm going to put a L angle on the back. Bear in mind this isn't 90 degrees to the skin, so I'll get the angle right. L angle, dimple it and countersink the rivets, because the hatch will go over this as well. Another little one there, and another 70 to 90mm one over there. So that'll just tighten up the skin. If I don't do that, I think that's just going to vibrate. So I'm not sure what others have done. I've got this in as far as it'll go, with a little thrust washer in between as per the plans, which gives a nice bearing surface there. I won't move this too much because the push rods just run up through the channel and they sort of chafe on the rivet heads at this stage because they're not connected. So that, and I did have that 3mm of end play, which didn't help much. It actually, if I push everything forward, then this angle actually sat on top of the anchor nuts. So I wonder if other people have run into the same issue. But anyway, if it was back over the hole, wouldn't matter so much. But in the end, it's going to be a bit stronger, so I'll just stiffen up the skin. I'll just attach the skin there. So not a biggie, going well and enjoying it. All right, so a quick update on the puck system, I guess. A quick email to Roger overnight, and he generally gets back pretty quick. So thanks, Roger at Zenith, for that. I just need to wait, obviously, to get the weight on the front. So I get an engine mount. So hang the deer bit off the front here, and then we can do the compression of the strut. So once it's got the weight on it, the strut will just sit in this block down the bottom, but it's still going to be fairly tight. Steering, but going well. And back on the rear pivot for the main control column, just knocked up these L angles. They're going to go between the anchor nuts and between the bracket, just to hold the skin up against the cross member. I just practiced with so I got the 3/32 dimple die, and I whacked a 1/8 rivet in there, and that's come up really well. So I'll go with the 1/8 rivets in the 3/32. The trick is to drill a 3/32 hole, dimple it, then upsize it to 1/8 or number 30, and then whack the A4 rivets in. And that's worked out well, because the problem I've got on the bottom skin, the panel will sit over these rivets, but it won't rattle. Someone asked me how I keep the carpet so clean on the floor. Have a look at this. Finished yet? You missed a bit. Alright, so up in here, rear fuselage. Not too sure that'll stand out, but I've you can see I put the L angles in. This one there about 100mm. Then the rear bracket for the torque tube. So that's all nice and smooth now. You can see up the front that's connected to the yoke control stick, and the yoke are flying the plane. I'm puffing a bit from climbing in and out and doing the vacuuming. Another little bracket, because you also got the anchor nuts just the other side of this L angle. That's my daughter with the feet poking out, and another L angle here. So a lot of mucking around. Flat motor, moved that out or lifted it up. Then you can rotate the flap arm or flap lever, and just back drilled back in this way, and obviously the rivets down the top here. So that job was that was annoying me a bit, but got it done, and now that is sweet. I haven't got a like that's solid now, and the other sides were already solid, so looking good, going well. So yeah, couldn't find much information on this. So this is laying on my back, looking up in the hole, and I've countersunk these rivets here with my dimpler. I've dimpled the rivets, so the panel will now sit across there on the anchor nuts. You've got to be a bit careful too. The exhaust can potentially get in through there into the cabin, so you'll be breathing CO2, which is never a good thing. Also, I wanted to square this up along this edge. When you butt it up to the control arm, sort of wanted to sit crooked, but just for aesthetics and also to look good, I squared it up with this edge. I'm really happy now with that L angle, and that's really rock solid. So that's how I did it, with the rivets in there. Yeah, the rivets are pulled the wrong way, but I did enough scratching around from the inside, and pulled the rivets from this side, the other ones from the top. Going well. And my modified sawhorse tail stand, 5 minutes work with the battery drill. Just holds the tail up. Alright, from here, it's good to get out of that hole underneath. I've got all that up to a point where I think it's user friendly. I'm just holding off on this top skin, which will be the dash cover where you throw your sunnies, if you like, top of the dashboard, because waiting for my engine mount, because the firewall can still sort of move. Once I get that mounted, I mount this top skin and put the dashboard in. So I might move on to painting the interior. Just fitted the top, like the false root rib on the frame. Drilled all those out to 1/8 through the frame. So it's looking good. And the windscreen will wrap around that. A bit of control at the front. I'm going to wait till I get the engine mount to get that all spot on. Now I'm just working on the door frame. This will be the door sill, so the door will slam against that part. Bit of bending involved. I'm just bending it as the manual says with my shifter or crescent wrench. This little guy's coming in handy just to get the angle of the dangle. So that's the angle I need. Put it on there, bend this up. It'll get you pretty close. Alright, so I've bent up this door sill. Some curves in there. Looks like Mr. Z or Zenith has done a good job actually. It's all sort of beveled out ready for you. So I bent that up. Now hopefully that should bang, fits in there beautifully. 1, 2, 3, 4 curves. It's a little bit of play once I drill in the Clico. And this back corner here, this back one, it says clearly in the instructions, just bent that 3 times because it bends up, it also bends in because the fuselage changes direction here. So beautiful. Robert's your dad's brother, or Bob's your uncle. Hey guys, alright, I'm just going through getting my got the doors on the bench here ready to go. When I say ready to go, just got all my parts cleaned up. Spent about half hour just deburring everything back to, I thought I'd finished all that, but got a lot of stuff. For my American mates out there, I guess, I've got these commonly known as a boomerang here in Australia. So if you want to get a bit of culture, YouTube Russell Coit, he's Australia's answer to, what do you be, Bear Grylls? Australia's answer to Bear, yeah, do yourself a favour, just YouTube Russell Coit, get a bit of Aussie culture. So yeah, just going through the process here, trying to work out the doors with the plexiglass, obviously build the frame inside the structure that I've got sitting behind me in the fuselage. But yeah, plenty of questions, but there's also plenty of guys out there to help, I guess. And I think I mentioned it when I spoke to one of the guys last time, Michael Hill up in Queensland. If you haven't had a look at him on YouTube, Unleashed I think it is, type in Michael Hill with an E, H-I-L-L-E. He's up in North Queensland doing some great work. He scratch built a cruiser from plans, obviously, and now he's building a seaplane, which is pretty cool. So he's good to watch, and those sort of guys are really great to reach out to. I made a few little errors or just seek some guidance, and within a few minutes you get a result. I'm also talking to Greg Prest over there a bit over in WA, and he's about 3 or 4 months in front of me when he ordered his kit. So we're sort of just throwing ideas against each other, which is really cool. Moustache Flyer, if you're out there, I gave you a couple of messages while you're standing in the Zenith factory last night. Unfortunately in Australia, with a time delay, well, we're actually in front of you guys over there. So it's really good having someone in the factory that can just take a few photos, and a photo's worth 1,000 words, as they say. But yeah, so going to work on these doors and see how we go from there. So as I said, got the door frames laid out, everything's doubled up. Brackets, hinges, door, like the door stop. There is a point of note, some of these boomerangs, if you like, there's a very slight, I'm sure if you can see that, it's got a very slight crease in it. So there's an inside and an outside, and a left and right, obviously. But yeah, got those cleaned up. I'm toying with the idea of, so I've got this top section on, and this bottom door sill. I'm toying with the idea of hanging the door. Then if it's slightly off, out of skew, I can sort of move this, because chances of it hanging, well, I don't know, hanging straight down. If I do this perfectly, my door's probably not going to be perfect. So, and I'm not sure how the door sits over this big elephant here at the moment, but I'm sure it'll work out. Alright, beautiful day and a bit of a change of pace out at the airport, and it's going to pull the Jabiru out. So there she is in the corner. We'll pull her out and go for a fly. Got my co-pilot. You ready to go, Chloe?
Yeah.
We'll go for a fly?
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, g'day.
I'll let you go first. You going straight away?
I got my daughter, I'll be a while.
It's cool.
Getting the Jabiru out. And here's Paul Andronicu going for a fly in his extra. Extra 330 SC. Beautiful. And the man himself.
No. Give it. Oh.
No. Morning all. We're going to go and fly an unknown routine from the European Championships.
Nice.
So I got the camera crew boys out there. You know, you can actually see the oil leak inside, looking that way. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cameras.
That'll
plus,
do.
Plus one on the ground.
How's that, Chloe? How's the flying?
Good.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Were you scared?
No.
Did we go fast?
Yeah.
And how high did we go? Where were we?
Not high.
Oh, wow. Okay, say bye.
Bye.
Alright, so that was good. Just a quick trip out to the airport. Hope you enjoyed that. Been for a fly and come back. Just working now. I've done the, I'll show you the close-up in a minute. Just working on the door sills and trim. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of information there, and this area in particular where the dashboard rolls down and meets the fuselage side, so I'll show you that if you like. Right, so I've got the put the door sill in, so this is permanently attached to the aircraft and your door will close and hit that with a rubber strip. Got the striker plates positioned in there at the moment. My plan is I can still bend those a bit if I need to, but I can also bend the actual door handle itself. I believe I'm probably going to need something at the back to stop the door bowing out. Area of concern, you've got this nice nice bit of skin here, sort of a nice good looking shape, but obviously the skin comes down off the dash on the outside of the tube, and it'll be on the outside, so top over bottom as opposed to bottom over top, because you don't want the water getting in there, etc. Standard practice sort of stuff. So that's fine, that'll go on there. A lot of the pictures though, does that then mean that the windscreen sits over these 5 or 6 rivets? Well, how many's there? 2, 4, 6, 8, about 10 rivets, 9 or 10 rivets. So the windscreen comes down around and may sit on top of those rivets with nothing attaching. The research I've done, I think I'm going to cut the windscreen to finish up here somewhere. So it's not sitting on these rivets, and you can secure the bottom corner of the windscreen. But there's not a lot of information out there on the CRUZER installation. All the pictures seem to be of the 750, what is that, Stole and the Super Duty and everything else, and I think their dashboard ends here somewhere, and you have a bit more visibility through there. And then obviously the dash or the top skin tucks in there. But anyway, so there we go. Persevere and work it out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that video. I'm trying to keep this camera a little bit, not moving it around as much, a little bit stiller. So we'll keep the camera still and produce a better product. But I hope you're enjoying the movies. I'm definitely enjoying the build, so keep watching. I don't say it, I haven't said it at all, I don't think, but subscribe. That helps me let me know that you're watching. Just hit the subscribe button and also ring the bell and you'll get notifications when I post a new video. But the Aussie Cruiser, going well.